Wherever you are in the world, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everybody joining us today from across the world. I've been really excited about this webinar for quite some time now because it's always a pleasure to be joined by my really good friend Erika to talk about a subject that I personally love and that I think many more people, just not only in the educator community, but just in general, it's a subject that many more people should incorporate into their lives. I'm talking about mindfulness and gratitude, right? So today we're going to be having a bit of a free-flowing discussion about ways that you can practice gratitude in your lives, whether it's in your classrooms, your personal life, your professional life, wherever it might be. And we have a special treat for you later on in the webinar. But everyone who joined us today, you're all going to receive a certificate of attendance. So please, as we go along, feel free to ask questions. We've got a pretty action-packed session today, but if we have time, we'll try and answer as many questions as possible. But in the absence of that, feel free to share resources, make comments, and talk about what's happening in the chat. This is a conversation and a topic which really does spark a lot of inspiration in people. So if you feel that spark of inspiration going, let us all know about it and share it with the community. So, Erika, my good friend, without further ado, could you tell us a little bit about your journey towards mindfulness, a little bit about who you are, and answer the question, which is like a universal question, I guess, what mindfulness actually is? What is it?
Okay, well, we're going to try to go a little quicker this time. If y'all got to see the first webinar, that's awesome. And if you didn't, you got to watch it. It's a fun one because we gave an overview of that. But I'm going to show some slides to explain a little bit about mindfulness and who I am. First of all, my name is Erika Sandström, and I'm a digital media teacher. I am also an online instructor for video production and green screen. I'm known as Green Screen Gal. Lots of shenanigans there, but I've also, my heart is wrapped around my Mindful Superhero Club. And you'll learn more about that in a little bit, about what that is for. But let me share my screen. I usually like to use the green screen, but I had a glitch this morning. Let's see if I can get.
You should be able to. I've given you access to it. So
yeah. So I'm hoping.
There we go. It looks like we got it. Yeah. Give it a couple of
like
seconds. There we go. Boom. Yeah, we're in.
Okay. All right. I usually, I like the green screen better, but let's see. We'll get back to the green screen a little bit. So everybody, the reason I want to share this with you is because you can follow along in the slideshow if you want, or watch it later. You can just be here in the present moment. And let me get myself out of the way. And so
we can't see any of the Zoom interface, so don't worry. You can move things around.
Oh, good.
Oh, no, sorry. I should have said, yeah. Anything that you see from like Zoom that's overlaying, we can't see it. All we can see is your screen. So feel free to shift stuff about.
All right, cool. So here we go with the website address. So you have to type it in exactly like this, Wakelet Gratitude. And please let me know in the chat box if that works. If not, I will fix it afterwards. And I just want to thank you all for being here today because I know, we're very busy right now. And with COVID and everything, it's amazing how busy people have been. But I'm not going to talk too much about this. I've been teaching 30 years. I'm a yoga instructor. I'm a mindfulness enthusiast. But the reason I'm an enthusiast is because of an experience I had flying home from Toronto, Toronto. And I was bumped from a flight with this amazing man, Blaise Aguirre, and he is one of the world leaders in mindfulness. And it was just a crazy day. The story was really funny. I didn't realize who he was at first or anything, even though I had seen his movie. He's in a movie called Mindfulness, the movie. And he is actually friends with Oprah Winfrey and all these things, but he was so positive. And I just remember looking at him going, "You're so positive. You remind me of the dog whisperer." And I don't even know why I said that because I've never even seen the show. Well, he's in the movie with the dog whisperer. And I also was looking at my Oprah and gratitude from Deepak and Oprah on my phone. I didn't know he knew Oprah. So it was just kind of one of those kismet days, like I was meant to be there. And if you watch the first webinar, you can hear the whole story. But it was so powerful. And it brought me into a true practice of mindfulness. Because being a yoga instructor, for years now, about 18 years, I always thought I was mindful, but I wasn't. And through my journey, and through knowing him, it's been really powerful. So the basic definition of mindfulness is just paying attention to the present moment, the here and the now, in a non-judgmental way. So one of my favorite quotes from a book that I read says that if you are living in the past, or you're having regret, shame, guilt, and all those lower emotions, or you're feeling those emotions, you're living in the past. If you have anxiety, worry about things that haven't happened yet, that's living in the future. And we miss the present moment so much. And just being able to teach kids this is powerful. So I'm going really fast because we have so much cool stuff to get to. But I just want to show you where we're headed with this after a little bit of mindfulness of why we need to practice it. So here it is. So Ms. Budd, do you want me to go on more about mindfulness?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I'm really enjoying the recap. I think that
I'm going
again,
so
it's just
fast. I'm so sorry.
really positive messages. I love that idea about, don't live in the past, live in the future. Sorry, don't live in the past or the future, live in the present. I love that. Really simple but profound message.
And when we talk about gratitude, we'll get into that even more, because
Amazing.
that is part of it. And what's so beautiful um, about mindfulness, and what Dr. Blaze said, is that kids are born naturally. We all are born naturally mindful. And through learned behavior, through life, through everything, this is, things change. So we can always get back to that. It's always in your back pocket. And it's such a beautiful practice. And I'm sure lots of people in the chat box are already on their mindful journey as well. And I wasn't going to get into all this too much, but let me skip to gratitude and why I wanted to focus on gratitude today. So if I can get into my slideshow. So Misbah, sorry. That's why I don't like using slides. The green screen's way more fun. Okay.
Yeah, I know. Green screen is a lot more fun, but I still like the slides. The slides are really, really, like, everybody's asking for the slides in the chat. So I've just shared them there. So that
Okay,
link
so
should
that
work.
website, yep, it's tinyurl.com
Yeah.
/Wakelet gratitude. Okay, so there are really 6 areas of mindfulness that I see, but I know there's probably more. And I need to tell everybody here too that I'm not a mindfulness expert. I'm not a doctor. I'm a yoga instructor, a teacher. This is from my personal experience, and I have one of the best mentors in the world. I'm just a messenger. I'm just a messenger, just like all of you. And that's what we're here to do, is share these beautiful practices. And so mindfulness has these 6 parts. So number 2, as you can see, is gratitude. And that's why I'm so excited about today. That's why I wanted to get to that part. But I need to be mindful.
No, just to add a little bit of clarity, we've already done, to everybody in the chat today, we've already done a webinar which is all about mindfulness. You'll be able to find that on our Wakelet channel on YouTube. Just literally type in Wakelet Mindfulness on YouTube and you'll find it. So this webinar, we just wanted to start off with a really quick recap of what mindfulness is and then jump into gratitude. So that's what Erika is going to be talking about now.
I would never go through it that fast. And we also have, never. And also afterwards, I will share a link as well to the slideshow from the first one that has the full mindfulness slideshow for all of you, with all the videos and all the cool stories and everything. But do you want to jump into the gratitude?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's for me, I'm very, very intrigued at what gratitude is, because I think that I have a very basic idea of what it is, but I think that from the little conversations that I've had with you, and this is why I'm so excited to learn from this webinar, I think it's a little bit more meaningful than I think it to be. When I think of gratitude, I just think of, the basic sense. I know you're not supposed to use the word that you're defining in the definition, but it's like being appreciative and grateful for the things that you have around you, which I guess is something that I think we're all taught about at some point, but I think as we gradually get older, we kind of tend to lose that. So I'm really interested to hear like a little bit more about what gratitude is and how it fits into mindfulness.
Oh, Ms. Budd, it's fascinating.
I imagine.
It's fascinating because it's science. It is not just being grateful for everything that you have and things like that, but it is science. My computer's freezing. Of course it is. So gratitude, gratitude means different things to different people, and we'll talk a little bit about that as well. I love how it loves to freeze on me. Okay. So the definition of gratitude, those are my notes, guys. I apologize for that. I should just talk. Um, is in the dictionary just what you said, but it goes beyond that. It goes into your emotions in a way that really helps you to, acknowledge the goodness in your life. And this is
Mm,
one from the Harvard Medical School. So you're actually acknowledging the goodness in your life. But the most fascinating part, I think, is the benefits and the science. So I'm going to go into that for you. And for example, and these are from the experts. This is from a man, David Sudar. He's a former monk, but he's also, I think he's a teacher, and he teaches mindfulness to big companies like Nike and stuff like that. And the three types of gratitude, he says, are past happenings, present happenings, and deep gratitudes. And a lot of times when I'll ask people, like, what are you grateful for, to the students, they always say family, food, shelter, and all that. And that's amazing. But when you get deep into gratitude, you get very specific and you ask questions about that. Like, when you say you're grateful, I was talking to Camilla about this, grateful for your friends. Why? Which friends? Why are you grateful for them? And then you go deeper into it, and it really deepens your gratitude as well. So there's so many different ways to be full of gratitude. And um, so here's some of the benefits. It opens doors to more relationships, physical health. It has been proven by science. I have all the science in here. I'm not going to show it to you, but you can look at it on your own time. Uh, the empathy part, and helps you sleep better. For me, it's made me a more positive person because, in the mindful mirror, we look at sometimes it's not so pretty. And you really start to figure out what you need to change about yourself and your own gratitude. But there's a little story I want to tell you that helped me really to change like that. I was at, I think it was a church. I've been to every kind of church and everything possible. But I remember being there, and there was this sermon. And there was about 500 people there, and he kept saying, "How many of you opened a door for someone today and they didn't thank you? Or how many of you got cut off in traffic and they didn't, or someone didn't, or you let someone in traffic and they didn't thank you?" And he got everybody going. Everybody's like, yeah, me. And then he said, "Did you do it for the thank you? Because if you did, that's not the purpose of doing kind things." And so it made me less offended. Like, if I open the door for someone and they don't thank me, I'm almost like, it's like a reward for you. It's, you didn't do it for the thank you. And
mm,
that really changed me overnight. And also Kid President. Who doesn't love Kid President? If you haven't seen Kid President, he is, and the man Brad Montag, who has created him, he is really the reason I started my club and teaching mindfulness and gratitude to kids. And these videos are incredible. They'll just fill your heart. And he talks about gratitude and different things people should keep saying. Um,
I love that idea. Just before you go on, Erica, about doing things not necessarily to get the thank you, or not necessarily to get the reaction from somebody. And I think that we've all complained about it, where we do open a door for someone or do something for somebody, and there's no thank you. And then in England, I don't know where it is in the rest of the world, but we're really sarcastic people, you know. So if we open the door and then somebody walks past without saying thank you, we say thank you, you know, like really, really passive aggressively. I think it's probably the same in Canada as well. I think we've got a shared culture with that. But I found that in my life as well. I found that I've had to kind of check myself a little bit, because I think that naturally I feed off appreciation for the things that I do. So if I've done something which I feel was, let's just say, call it like a good deed, it's not that I expect a thank you or appreciation for it. It's that when I do get that thank you and that appreciation for it, I know that that makes me feel really, really good. And so I'm a little disappointed when I don't get it. And I think that I need to start learning that not everything that you do, like you said, requires a thank you. Not everything that you do requires that appreciation. It's just the fact that you've done it that should
right.
be gratifying to yourself. So I just wanted to jump in and say that a little bit.
No,
'Cause I
no,
wanted
no. I'm glad you did. It helped me refocus. Thank you. I should tell everybody that, like, the universe, when I teach empathy and compassion and all those things and gratitude, you have to give the kids an opportunity to practice it. Uh, you can talk about empathy all day long, but unless they actually experience something that can help them understand it. And the same thing with gratitude. And this week, I was telling we almost had to postpone today because I was in the hospital. And I'm fine, and I'm grateful for that. But it was a true practice of gratitude as I'm sitting there with two double masks on, and the hospital, they did a really good job of keeping people, of course it's green, keeping people apart and stuff. But I practiced. I saw this little boy in there, and he was there, and he was being brave. So I thought, oh, and then he started dancing, so I was grateful for that. But I was going over in my mind what I was grateful for in that moment, just to keep myself from what we're going to talk about now, which is my favorite part. But you're right, energy. Like if we're opening a door for somebody or whatever it is, our gratitude or our kindness to them is energy sent to them. So if we get upset, that's sending the wrong ripple. And that's why I'm so excited about ripple and waves and, the gratitude wave of Wakelet, because we are proven by science to be energy. And everyone knows that. And what you put out could come back to you, but it's a ripple effect. So if someone's really kind to you, your emotions of that go to somebody else because you're so excited. John O'Neill, I was going to show it on the screen, but John O'Neill put this amazing post on Twitter about this webinar that was like, Erika's the best, and it just, my heart just exploded with gratitude, and I just started sharing the story with everybody else, and it's just a ripple effect. But negative can have the same effects too. And with the team.
Yeah, I know. I've noticed that. I always say that it's always much easier to put somebody in a bad mood than it is to put them in a good mood. It's much easier to bring somebody's mood down than it is to cheer them up. And I think that negativity tends to be a little bit more infectious than positivity, which is why stuff like this is so important.
And I also think, I just know from my experience, a lot of people are, well, me anyway, we were almost raised to show, point out what people are doing wrong. That's just kind of, it's a teacher thing too. I hate to say it, but and until you start pointing out what people are doing right, it's just a negative cycle. Like my students, if I spell something wrong on the board, they'll be like, "You spelled that wrong," and I'm like, and then I'll be like, "What am I doing right today, guys? How's my hair? Like how am I doing?" And they're like, "Oh," so it's just a switch of your brain, and that's what gratitude has done for me. Is I end up, and I know I end up annoying my family and my friends because I'm always seeing the good in a situation, or I'm very preachy about this stuff, and I have to be careful with that because everybody's on their own journey. But this Mizpah is amazing, and I want to get through this so we can have our surprise. But Abraham Hicks is one of the many people who talk about energy scales. And
could you click, I'm sorry, Erika, could you click the present button just so that people can see that? Because it's a little bit small from where I am. I think if you click present, then I think people will be able to probably read the text. And don't worry, everyone's going to be patient. Don't think that the
I
machine,
know, I get so worried.
the machine is going to take as much time as it needs. There's nothing that we can do to speed up the machine.
Well,
there we go.
my
We can see it.
Eric, I told him I need a new computer, so see.
we
Hey,
can see
Dr.
it now.
Kerbal, okay, so with the energy scale, it's so cool when you start getting into this because certain energies put you in a downward spiral and others bring you up, and when you're below, I call it below the line, you're not producing as much energy, and that's when depression and anxiety and disease can happen. So what she teaches you, and I don't have time to teach you, but I did put some videos in here for you, is how to get yourself out of this space and move up the ladder. And it's life-changing for me. I'm actually going to show this behind me because I think it's so powerful how this works. First, let me show you that the downward spiral, you see that boredom, oh, sorry, I think it's behind me, it's not. Boredom is kind of the line of when you're head down. So when you're in this spiral, you can, like I was at the hospital today, you can stay in that spiral and you can go this direction if you want. But if you catch yourself you want to jump up and then head to the other side and try to bring yourself back.
Erika, is this like, if I was to look at that, is it like a step thing? So does it start at boredom and then spiral down into something more? Or are they just these just not necessarily steps that are followed in order, but more just like in order of seriousness, would you say?
Well, I am so glad you asked. So, like I said, I'm not an expert. I was introduced to this by a girl named Shauna Pelton. She's an amazing therapist years ago. And she just explained to me that, when you're at this line here, these emotions go down. But the thing is about this one, this is worse than this. And this is
Mm,
worse than this. So you have more energy in anger than you do in despair and all the things down here. And so when it's funny it says boredom. That's funny to me. But when you realize you're starting to feel these emotions, or if you're way down here, try to think of something that can bring you up a bit. And the videos really explain it better from the professionals. But I I always tell the kids, I'm like, uh-oh, you're crossing the line. You're crossing the line. What can we
mm.
do? Can we breathe? Pick whatever it is that's going to get you there. For me, I always need something that brings me to joy. Like, what is something that brings you to joy when you're having a really rough day, Misbah? Do you have
Mm.
something that makes you laugh?
For me, do you know what? I don't think, and I'm sure that a lot of people probably relate to this. I don't think of the word joy much. I think that like we kind of confuse like happiness with joy. I think happiness is this very vague, big umbrella term that's very difficult to actually define. Like, is happiness money? Is happiness health? Is happiness like having friends? Is it having possessions? Is it going on loads of holidays? Like, what is it, you know? But I think that joy, the reason why I love the word joy is because it's a much more specific emotion. I
Yeah.
think that for me, the things that make me joyful are new discoveries. So new things that I've never experienced before that I get to experience for the first time. And then I get very nostalgic about those first time memories way back. So I think about the first time that I was on a plane, for example, or, the first time that I won a basketball match, those types of things that bring me joy. But again, I think that as you become older and more consumed in your work, you tend to not have that childlike joy. Like, I know, like, kids get happy about bubbles, you know what I mean? Like, you can do something really simple. Like, I had my cousins over a few months ago. I've got a few young cousins, and the stuff that they're joyful about is so simple. Like, you can do a magic trick for them, and they've experienced that magic trick for the first time. They're not cynical or cold about it. They're not like, how did you do it? They're just joyful about it. So I love that word, and I've been taking screenshots as we go along as well as I'm attendee, because I
It's
love
fast.
this
Don't
word. Yeah.
worry, you'll get it all. I just like using a green screen better, as you can tell. I'm more comfortable now. But this is what my students know this. What I go to, what Miss Sandström does when she's having a tough moment is cat gifs, whatever you call them. I look at some cat gifs and I just lose my mind. I just don't go. See, I see it so many times. I can't. This was my favorite. I love cats. See what I mean? I've seen them a million times. My students are sick of them, but they're like, somebody show Miss Sandström a cat gift fast. Show it, show her fast because she's spiraling. She's spiraling. But it's important to know that, like, you can't just jump to joy. You have to be mindful about it. You have to figure out, you might have to get angry first.
Hmm.
Be careful about where you put your anger, but you need to kind of work up those emotions. But just knowing about the scale and knowing how, I tell my students, if there's teenage drama in the hallway, they're like, I said, guys, don't you feel it? Some kids freaking out. You feel the daggers. You can feel the energy, and I'm like,
Hmm.
but Joy does the same thing. When I watch Kid President, I can't stop laughing about his America video, and when I in the so
That's a good point, actually. Everyone in the chat, let us know what it is that you're joyful
what
about.
is
What
your
brings you the
joy? What is
emotion of
your
joy?
it
Yeah,
could be ice cream. It could be ridiculous things. And I want to ask
yeah, yeah.
our guests as well. Oh God, I wonder what they're going to say. I love it.
We'll leave it running, and then we'll look back at it later. It'll be like a surprise.
Yeah, exactly. Please just tell us. Okay, so one last thing before we move on to the best part of today. And I'm so sorry, everybody, if I'm rushed. It's because I have so much to share. And um, and we don't have enough time, but
Well, we'll share these resources, right? Like
yeah,
we'll make sure
yeah,
to include a link in the description of the video that's directly to all of these resources. So don't worry about
okay, all right,
and
yeah.
also for the also I know for a fact that the people in the audience also don't worry, you will get these resources. So yeah, we'll get them to you somehow.
It's so worth your time because
Yeah.
like literally it's one of those switches and that can happen so fast if it hasn't already. And Oprah Winfrey is the queen of gratitude. She did not come from much. Her story, you should do some research on that. And she claims gratitude is, her magic potion. And it is because I know that I've been living that magic. That's why I'm on here today. It's the more I'm present, the more I let things kind of, release control, the less I freak out about little things because, that's what happens with gratitude. You just kind of, forgiveness comes in and you just don't really worry. It's amazing. But what
Mhm.
she does is she explains that gratitude is not just my family, my friends, it's throughout the day. And we're going to talk a tiny bit about gratitude journals. I have tons of resources. I keep one on my phone that almost every day, I even do voice to text because I'm a little lazy. But things throughout your day you're grateful for.
Mhm.
So when you woke up this morning, like for me, it was, I had some cream for my coffee. I thought we were out. I was like, oh, that's going in my journal. And, Mizbah, of course, and on and on and on. And some days it's like I saw, like Oprah says, I saw a squirrel and it was cute. Yep, that's what I got today. But that's okay. It's just, it changes your brain chemistry and you'll learn all that in here. But what do you think, Miz? You think you're ready? Are we ready to bring in our special people?
I think so. Yeah, I think that that would be incredible. One of the reasons why I was super excited about this webinar in the first place was because Erica told me that we'd be having three special guests who each of them will be sharing some really cool things with us. So it gives me great pleasure, and I'm gonna unmute and start video for Louisa, Katie, and Kamala. And guys, if your video hasn't started yet, then there we go. Okay, so we've got Louise's video, we've got Katie's video, and Kamala. And just say hi to everyone so that we can see you.
Hi, I'm Louisa.
Hey, Louisa, nice to meet you.
Katie,
Hi,
go for it.
Camilla.
Oh, Camilla. Okay.
Hey, Kamala.
Hey, Katie. Oh, Katie, we can't hear you, honey. But that's okay. That's all right. We'll figure it out. I know, I know. So these are three of my students and actually mindful superheroes for for my school, part of my club. The boys were a little shy today, but I brought these three beautiful souls with me. And two eighth graders going into high school. Go ahead and wave my eighth graders. And then we have a seventh grader here who I've had, and I had her last year as well, Miss Camilla. And they're going to be telling you more about gratitude and mindfulness because I think, their voices are way better than mine and way more important. But let me tell you a little bit about my club and who these ladies are. I'm sorry, they did give me permission to show this. So ladies, you can't be mad at me. And then we're going to start asking them some questions. So the Mindful Superhero Club, here we are, is, oops, that's the wrong one. Anyway, it's supposed to be full of kids. But the right one has all kinds of kids in it. But the kids come to a club after school, and actually I teach mindfulness throughout the whole day, even in regular class with Camilla. We do yoga, we do a little bit of mindful meditation, and we create these videos. We're all about creating videos. So Katie, turn off your Chromebook and you're good. Thanks, honey. And so what they have is these magic names. They all get names like Kind Katie and Loyal Louisa, and I have Caring Camilla here. And so we make these videos and to make the world more joyous. You're going to see some of the girls coming up, but I kind of want to get to them. So girls, Katie, do you want to start and tell us how mindfulness has helped you? Oops, poor Katie. We'll come back to Katie. Louisa, you're up, girl. Would you like to tell us how mindfulness has helped you?
I don't know what to do.
Oh, sorry, Katie, we can hear you, honey.
Oh, sorry. Hold on one second.
It's okay. It's okay, Katie. I think you're using two devices, right? You've got like your laptop and you've got your phone. So I think
Yeah.
that
You'll figure it out.
Your phone's picking up audio, so that's probably the best one to use, I'd say. But
Yeah, it's okay, kids.
Okay.
It's okay. All right, Louisa, tell us.
So this year at our school, we had a lot of loss, and mindfulness has just been helpful to like everyone around the school, like teachers, staff, students, and like the club, we do things, and it makes us like, it helps us open up our minds and like focus on what's better instead of what we lost.
Yes, exactly.
And
it's
just been like really helpful during like all the hard times we've been through.
Yeah.
And is there anything that you do specifically, Louisa, that like that is a way of practicing mindfulness? Because I want to learn from you guys. Like Erika's taught me a lot already, but is there any like particular technique that you do that you could share?
Like Miss Sandström said, I personally don't keep a journal, but like it's very helpful. Like she's shown us ours. But like throughout the day, I just point out like things to my family and things like, oh, I'm so grateful we have this. Like I'm so happy you guys are here, or things like that. Sometimes it's like the simplest things that make the biggest difference.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And how about, what is it that you wanted to show us here? Remember?
Oh, the yoga technies that we do are also like very helpful. Like sometimes Miss Sandström just sees me like break into like yoga in her classroom.
Go ahead, show us that. Show us.
She taught me some of it. We're doing it on last time.
I think we all do it right now. Okay, let's go ahead, honey. What do you want us to do?
Do that and then like just crack your back.
Okay. All right, we're going to stretch on the chair. Let's do one at a time. Let's go ahead, stretch a little bit, and then lift. Remember, lift your spine. Inhale.
Oh, that feels good.
And then exhale. Do a nice deep breath. Inhale. And exhale. And then other side. I know it's hard.
Everyone should be doing this as well.
Everyone should be doing this. Now keep your knees forward, and please, if you're pregnant, don't twist. Inhale and lift. It's true. And exhale. A nice big breath. Inhale.
I've done it as long as I can hold it. I'm not in shape. I need to get more flexible.
Now, Louisa was showing this one too, where you open your shoulder blades up. I always tell them that Tom Brady throws a football farther because of this, and wiggle your fingers and lift your shoulders. Try to keep your shoulders down, but lift your elbows.
Got you.
And then switch sides. Woo! Very nice. Okay.
I love it.
All right. Camilla, why don't you tell us about your mindfulness story and show us something?
I started my mindfulness story because sometimes I have anxiety when it comes to stuff. I have like a lot of pressure. I start getting anxiety about it. So one day I had a quiz and I studied hard for it, but it was like still hard. So I was getting anxiety from it in class. I was starting to have anxiety. So Miss Sandström, a few days before that, Miss Sandström told me a technique, and it was counting from 10 and going backwards. So like 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, and all those numbers. And when you finish, you take a deep breath and just like try to relax your nerve. So when I did that, it worked for me a lot. And at the end, I got to finish my quiz, and I got 100 for it.
Oh, wow. Amazing. I wish that I did that more. I used to get so anxious when I had exams. I still have dreams, Camilla, of like, I call them my anxiety dreams. I have these dreams where even though I've not done any school for like a long time, I still have these dreams where I'm late for an exam, or I've shown up for an exam that's just been thrown on me and I don't know the answers to anything and I don't know any revision, but I have to take this test. So I can only imagine that how stressful actually taking exams can be, because I'm a 30-year-old adult and like I still get anxiety dreams about that. So but that's an incredible technique for sure, and I'm gonna start using it. Definitely.
Well, and also,
so it's just
too,
counting down from 10 all the way up until 1 slowly, and it just kind of resets your brain, right?
Oh.
yeah.
Yeah, there's also the one I also do, which I call it the roller coaster. Miss Chancellor also told me, and it's the one that you like go like that and breathe.
Oh yeah.
Come on, guys, let's do it.
Inhale, and then exhale. Inhale, exhale, Inhale, exhale, and then inhale.
I taught that to my sister the other day,
Yeah.
and she was doing it really fast. She was like, and I was like, no, you got to slow it down. That's the whole point.
It's so true. And I also, with the counting one, I always, for me, I have to use numbers like 198, 197, 196, because it's, everybody can count. Most people can count 99, 98 automatically, but when you have to actually think about the number, it's magical. Like, you'll just, I do that when I try to fall asleep at night, but it's definitely, I've seen her do this in class, and I've just seen her change from this to, great.
That's so cool.
So in here, this is Katie actually, with her snowman. She's pretending that she put a snowman in the hallway in the elevator. So she's so fun. I feel bad, Katie, but don't worry, Katie. We'll have you back on if something happens.
I think. Oh no, hold on a second. I think that I can unmute Katie, but we don't need to use video. Can you hear us, Katie? Can you say it?
I can. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah, that's
okay,
fine.
Awesome.
It's probably best not to use the video because I think it might be a like a bandwidth issue or something. But we can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, perfect. I'm sorry about all the technical difficulties.
It's fine. We've all had to deal with them. You can't apologize for the robots. They do what they want.
Yes, they did. It happened to me too. Don't worry, sweetie. I know how you feel. Katie, so why don't you tell us how mindfulness has helped you, and hopefully you can have time to do it now because I know you're probably stressed, and give us maybe an example of how it's worked for you. And
yeah, absolutely. So mindfulness has honestly taught me to not take this, one short life we have so seriously. And it's helped me with the everyday little things that added up and got me so stressed. And whether it was, at school, when I was taking a test, or if I had a project coming up, I would stop myself and say, you know what, everything's going to be okay. And during COVID-19, when we couldn't see our friends and family, I would be in a terrible mood because spring was supposed to be so much fun, and now I won't be able to make those memories. But then I decided I could wake up every day and be in a terrible mood, or I could just make the most of the situation. And because it's gotten a lot better in Massachusetts, but there's still a long road ahead, and you just have to stay positive through it.
Oh, how great is she, huh? My heart
Incredible.
is like teacher joy. I can't even stand
Incredible.
it.
Katie, are there any other kind of like mindfulness or relaxation techniques that you use? Because you strike me as, you kind of remind me a little bit about myself, like you're kind of looking at things in quite a very mature way, let's say. What other types of stuff do you do that you can kind of pass on to our audience in terms of little tips and things?
So I have found a love for yoga, and I was bored one day during quarantine, and I was like, oh, why not? I'll just try a yoga class on YouTube, and it was totally free, and I ended up loving it. And I never realized what an impact it had on your mind and body, and I just felt so much better afterward, and it was so much fun.
I definitely need to try yoga out. Every single person that I've spoken to about the subject, including you, I'm going to call you Miss Sandström just because I feel weird in front of the students calling you Erika. You mentioned last time how important yoga was, and there's this other thing that I found recently that somebody was telling me about called grounding. This idea that like we spend so much time off the natural ground, like off the earth, like wearing shoes, indoors, on carpet, on rubber, on brick, you know what I mean? And actually just going somewhere like out to a field or to the mountains or the hills, or just somewhere that's like quite naturist, and taking your shoes and socks off and just planting your feet on the ground. Somehow, like, I know that like a lot of people think it's wacky to talk about like energy and stuff like that. But it's like science, like it's genuine science, because it's like the energy, the earth has an energy, and Apparently it like rebalances you and that type of thing, but I've not done that much research on it, but I'd love to do it. I think I see some people in the chat, Karen, Stephanie, talking about it. You can also do it in your yard. But yeah, Katie, yoga, I'm definitely going to try and get more into yoga because I'm not as flexible as I'd want to be. And I don't even think it's the health thing. I think it's also, I'm going to be doing this like all day now. I think it's also that idea of just concentrating on one thing, because I do a little bit of running from time to time. I've not done in the past few months, which is bad. But during lockdown, the thing that really helped me was going for a run. I'd go on like a 5 kilometer run. You don't use kilometer, do you? You still use
Yeah, I know.
yeah. You
I
don't use
know
the
it's
metric
hard.
system. I don't know how many miles that is, but yeah, I do a 5 kilometer run, and I'd love it because you'd only be focused on one thing, and that was just from getting like one foot in front of the next. You know, your mind is clear. You're not thinking about all the things that you are anxious about. So yeah, I'd recommend like exercise is a really, really important part of that for sure.
Absolutely. I love what you mentioned too about grounding. I live on the water, so I have to find grass to stand in barefoot sometimes. Or I remember hiking once and I said, I need to hug a tree and ground. And that's a great way to do it. And I see all these beautiful things in here, you know, meditation, prayer, everything. Yes, absolutely. Whatever works for you. That's what's great about this world and all the different cultures. And oh, it's amazing. It's amazing when I learn from others. In here, that's Camilla, by the way, working on our new video. It's actually the wrong one. She's supposed to have a smiley face. Sorry about that, Camilla. A smiley face, kind of like the one I've showed you guys with me. We're doing a pass the marker video, and Camilla is also, oh, that's you. Do you remember that in sixth grade, huh? This is Louisa. Louisa is one of my superheroes, and she was doing a video on positive self-talk. And then, yeah, I have so many of you, Louisa. I didn't.
Amazing. Well, I think that we've got a few questions. Before we jump into questions, Erika, and I think that some of the questions are for Louisa, Camilla, and Katie as well. But before we jump into them, are there any call to actions that you wanted to say? Are there anything that you want people to do, or anything that you'd like to share before we jump into questions? Because I think the questions will probably round out the hour. What do you think?
Okay. Probably, yes, they will. Call to actions. Well, definitely visit, if you're interested in learning green screening things, visit me at my website, greenscreengal.com. That's because I'll be teaching all these things that you're seeing here coming up. I have something that the girls and I are working on called Cultivating Compassion Through Creativity. So in August, I'm launching some courses for that, but also my Mindful Superhero Club. We're trying to, I want to spread this club as much as possible. So if you are interested in for your school in having a Club Mindful, then reach out to me. And in the slideshow, you'll see some links and things of call to actions. But the favorite call to action is I'm going to have a link in the slideshow after we're done to a Wakelet for gratitude. And I want all of you to share on this open Wakelet. I just have to put the link in there for you, and you can share pictures, videos. I mean, you all know Wakelet's amazing. So please share some of your gratitude. And
oh yeah, we were really excited
share.
about this. Erika had the
Yeah.
idea to
Wakelet seed with
basically,
gratitude. Send a ripple, I'm calling it.
yeah, exactly. To send basically, we're going to share it. I guess you can share it in the chat now, Erika, whilst I'm talking about it, if you have it at hand. So we talked about how cool it would be if we shared a Wakelet collaborative collection. And even if you don't have a Wakelet account, you can just click on it and add like a piece of content that you're grateful about, or it can just be, it can be text, it can be a song that makes you happy, it can be, I think I'm probably guessing most of it's going to be like a little message, but just anything that you think that makes you grateful, or any takeaways from today's session. So we'll be sharing that in the chat shortly. But in the meantime, I've got a question for Louisa, Camilla, and Katie. So we're talking about gratitude. So Louisa, what would you say that you, as a student, or just you as a human, are grateful for in your life?
Just the smallest things, really, like my friends and family. I know this is like what everyone says, but like I really truly am. Like, I feel you should show people what they mean to you and why you're grateful to have them in your life. Like, sometimes, like every once in a while, I'll like send a paragraph to my friends, like expressing my gratitude towards them and thanking them for always being there for me and why I'm thankful for them. Like, I sent an email to Miss Sandström the other day about it too. Like,
Oh,
I
that's
just
beautiful.
I just think you should express your gratitude for everyone around you.
So taking the time out to actually send that message and send that text message or that email just to somebody who you might not have spoken to in a while, or even just people who are close friends, and just talk about like how much they mean to you, essentially.
Yeah.
I guess that's
A
really good
ripple.
for, yeah, exactly, a ripple. I guess that benefits everybody when people do that. Camilla, what about you? What types of things are you grateful for?
Um, I know this is really common or anything, but I would say I'm grateful for one of my friends. I'm grateful for her because if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be closer to my cousin.
Hmm.
And me and my cousin like talked a lot, but not really. But over quarantine, if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be talking with my cousin. So I'm grateful for her to like she got me and my cousin to be closer again than we used to be.
Oh, that's such a thoughtful, a thoughtful response. Thank you
Oh
so much,
gosh,
Camilla.
she
Broke
made
my
a whole
heart a little bit
slideshow.
there.
Yeah, I know. She made a whole slideshow for today. We don't have time to show it, but I'll throw it in the other slides.
Incredible,
Beautiful,
incredible.
beautiful way to keep a journal is in Google Slides, or
Yeah,
use one of
yeah.
the apps, like the Facebook.
Katie,
Kate?
what about you? What types of things are you grateful for?
So I am definitely grateful for my family and friends, and I know like everyone says that, but I really am. They mean the world to me, and I wouldn't be the person I am without them. And I'm definitely grateful for Miss Sandström
Oh,
and all the great teachers. Um,
yeah.
yeah, I'm grateful for the little things too, you know?
Amazing.
Kate,
Yeah,
Kate,
yeah. It's the little things that count. I'm starting to learn that, I think, as time goes on, that it's the small things that matter. Usually the big things that you're really, really looking forward to, quite often they happen, and you're just like, oh, okay, cool, that happened, that was nice. But it's the little things that happen every day that I think make a big impact. This is actually another question for the mindfulness superheroes, as you're going to be known as from now on. So we've got a teacher here, we've got a teacher called Mark, and this is a question for the students in particular. So this is going to be a really good test of for you, Erika.
oh boy.
So what advice as a student would you give a teacher when it comes to helping their students with mindfulness? Like, I guess what types of stuff has Mrs. Sandström done to help you? We can start with Louisa and then go over to Camilla and then.
I feel like you shouldn't like Miss Sandstrom. Some teachers just talk and talk about it like verbally, but like Miss Sandstrom, she demonstrates, like she gets on her feet and like actually shows us, and I feel like that's very like helpful to like see it instead of just hearing it.
Yeah, and
Awesome.
the videos on like that's that was that what you mean? Like doing the videos?
Yeah,
Yeah.
What about you,
like
Camilla?
saying
Oh, sorry. Go on, Louisa.
sorry,
Sorry. No,
like
continue.
saying it is one thing, but being able to create something and show other people, like I just find it incredible.
Aw, thanks, honey.
So leading by example, I guess there, Mark, like being able to take an active role rather than just talking about it, but getting interactive and I guess like you said, actually showing how to do it. And like you spoke about movement as well before, Erika. I remember you were talking about how like sitting is the new smoking, and you know it's important to get people on their feet and keep moving at all times. Well, not at all times, but as much as possible. So that's really good. Camilla, what about you? What types of like what advice would you give a teacher who's looking to kind of improve mindfulness with their students?
Um, just like Lisa said that they should like take at least a day of the school year to try and show kids what like gratitude or like mindfulness they can do, not just like talk about it, but like actually doing it to show the kids what it actually means.
Awesome. So yeah, reaffirming that again, Mark. Doing instead of just saying. What about you, Katie? Let me unmute your mic. One moment. There we go. What about you, Katie?
So I definitely agree with them. And then I also think that, you know, teachers put a lot of stress on their students, whether it be upcoming tests that they're not really prepared for, or a big project. I think that if they would just take the time to really assure the students that, you know, everything's going to be okay, and go over it with their students, and just take time to really make sure and like have a personal connection with the students, I think that would go a long way.
That's
Terrific.
really that.
Katie keeps a journal, actually. She started it on New Year's, and just the little things throughout the day, and just like Oprah does, and powerful. I'm so bummed we're running out of time. We wanted to play a game with you.
Oh my gosh, no, I think we still have time. That's fine. Like if anybody has to rush somewhere, don't worry, the webinar's recorded. So we can go, you know, 5-10 minutes over. I can't cut this off. It's too good. It's impossible. So it'll be like an hour and 10 minutes on YouTube. So if anybody has to go, like we apologize if we've gone over, but you can catch the rest of it on YouTube. But no, go on, let's play this game, Erika.
Okay. Well, Kate, I mean, also girls, you all said that you had some advice for teens too, who you think should get into this. You don't have to answer, but if anybody wants to, does anybody want to give a shout out to what you think other kids should do or try? What do you think, Louise?
Yeah, I like some kids don't understand how like helpful and like how much mindfulness and gratitude like impacts your daily life. So I feel like you shouldn't judge it until you try it, and if you won't do it for yourself, do it for someone else.
Yes. True, paying it back. Like I tell kids, we're all magnets. Like you know, if you want things like this opportunity for me here, being here to share, just be able to talk about it, they'll come to you if you put out the energy. And like Deepak Chopra says, you know, instead of finding for love, instead of finding the right person, be the right person, and watch what happens. It's just amazing. I could talk about this all day, but so we wanted to play. These girls also wrote some really great answers to a lot of questions that I can share in the slideshow. Their hearts are just huge, and they've come a long way, and it's very mature for their age, that's for sure.
I not to put any like pressure on you guys, but I feel like a dedicated webinar with you guys would be really, really awesome. I think that we want to have more students interacting with teachers, I think, because I think that doesn't happen very often in this kind of environment. So I think that outside of the classroom, to have that interaction and that advice where you can talk about things honestly, I think is really beautiful. So this has spurred definitely the wheels are spinning in my head for where we can take this in the future. But yeah, sorry, go on.
I hope it's okay to say this, Ms. But Ms. has asked me to come on once a month, and we can break down all of these things. We can even do gratitude again, so I can get the things we didn't get, and then just hit all the different parts of mindfulness. But bringing these students on, I mean, I'd rather hear it from them too. So I mean, student voice, and it's just powerful what we can do. So thank you for that, Ms. Bo. I'm sure they're very excited, right, girls? You got one under your belt, it's going to be easy. So
oh yeah, the next time's going to be a breeze. Don't worry about it.
Easy, yeah, for me too. But lots of materials out there, lots of ways to help kids with gratitude. In the chat box, tell us what you do for your kids. I mean, there's so many ways, and this one is one of my favorites. It's called just a 3-minute gratitude journal. And it literally has like little smiley faces, and I don't know if you can see that on here, of how you're feeling. And you know, you could make your own, you could use an app. And that's one of the things the students in my club have to do. They're required to try a gratitude journal, and then, you know, we see what happens in our lives. It's like a magic potion. But one of the games I like to play, especially with the little ones, is called Mindfulness Pictionary. Gratitude Pictionary. So I'm going to attempt to draw something, and girls, you win the book if you guess what it is, okay? All right. Ms. Bo, you can play too, yes. Okay. Whoever guesses it gets the book. Okay. So I'm going to share my whiteboard and draw something, or attempt to. I hope this works. Okay. So something that I am grateful for right now is, let me draw this. You guys can talk while I'm drawing if you want.
Yeah, I'm really interested in this, and I think that the audience can play along as well. So
yeah. Okay. All right. So yeah, it's just a lot of pressure because I practiced this like 10 times, but you know how that goes. All right. Let's see. Oops. Oh, that's supposed to be rounded. Okay. Well, not working out. So you'll figure it out.
We'll get it.
We'll leave that part. I think out loud. Okay. Da-da-da-da. Nope, I don't want a line. I know. What happened? I can't draw. There we go. Okay. You're going to figure this out easily. I always sing when I draw.
Is it your dad?
Oh, it does look like my dad, doesn't it? I hope he's here.
Is that what I think it
it's
is?
And I'm actually a
Okay,
painter.
keep your screen on. I have to take a picture of that. That's definitely my new background. Hold on.
Wakelet wave, yes.
That's great.
My wave was a lot better. I couldn't find the curve. This is your television. This is the computer screen. Yeah.
I'm so honored, honestly. I love how long my neck is as well.
I'll save it. I'll save it. We're gonna make a T-shirt, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Do you know what? It could be my head with two legs. You know, like those old, like when you're a kid, just kind of walking. It looks like I'm walking with two legs. Yeah, exactly. There are my arms. It's incredible. It's an abstract. That's what it
I'm
is.
so sorry. It just does look like my dad, though. If you see a picture of my father, you did see him the last.
I'd have to.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna stop. So if anybody else wants to take a turn, but I don't know if we have time.
That's Misbah walking on a glass ceiling wearing lipstick. That's what it is.
But I am super grateful. We all are. We were talking about last night how grateful we are that you're giving me a place to have a voice to help teachers, students, or anybody out there who wants to listen to me. And I just bringing these kids on. We're just so grateful. It's such a great opportunity. And so we hope anyone.
Honestly, like we're grateful for it. Like we want to at Wakelet, we want to try and facilitate discussions which aren't just about the usual things. And I think that, you know, seeing the collection that you first put together about mindfulness, I immediately saw it and I was like, this is something that people need to hear about. It's even if it's not an educational basis. And I think that was a really cool thing that we did at the beginning of that webinar, where we noticed that we're not really talking about educators anymore. We're talking about humans. And I think that that's really important. We've got all the professional development stuff, but I think that this is really important because it's very, very, very human. And I think that practicing being a human is really important. Sometimes we can forget, you know, sometimes we can just be on autopilot all the time. So me, like personally, I absolutely love speaking with you. And like Louisa, Camilla, am I saying it wrong, Camilla? Is it Camilla or
You said it right.
Okay, good, because there's like Camilla, Camila, and Camilla. So if I'm saying it right, Camilla. Okay, that's good. And Katie, thank you all so much, honestly, for joining us. Like, I'd love for you guys to come on again. I think that those conversations that we can have between students and teachers are really important. Erika, is there, like, how can people find your stuff? Because like everyone in the chat is asking, where can I see the downward upward spiral? Where can I find all of these resources? Where can people find that stuff? And if you can you share it in the chat for everybody?
Yes, I will share that link again with y'all in a second here. And you know, honestly, I've been doing so many webinars and things this summer that you'll notice when you go to my website, greenscreengal.com, it's a hot mess right now. So I'll be working on that as soon as I maybe get a nap. And then, so if you sign on for the freebies on that website, I'll have your info and I can send you lots of things. But this slideshow is that website address again.
So I've shared your website. Which is cool. I'm just taking a look at that. It's so you. I'm on the website right now, and it's just so.
It is so
there's like a butterfly on my screen. There's like everything's giphy and moving. It's just so you.
It is so me, and I'm actually putting the website up on the screen for everybody too, because I didn't have it ready to go. Let's see. Don't you love how I think out loud? Isn't it hilarious? Okay, so I know. so glad you let us go over. I relaxed the second that you said that. I'm an oversharer. So if you go to this website, you should be able to find this. I apologize. Somebody else talk.
Oh, I'm gonna speak. I wanted to just again reiterate that this is the second in a series. So if you go to our YouTube channel and just type in, you know what, I'm just being lazy right now by telling everybody to do that. I'm gonna go ahead and do it. But all of the webinars that we do, like these community special webinars, we put them all into our Wakelet channel. So I'm gonna share part 1 of this webinar, which was really like one of my favorite webinars ever. And that was that's the first time that we spoke, wasn't it, Erika?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna share that in the chat, because I think that there's a load of resources in there that are really, really cool. So I've just shared it then. That's like part 1. So just bookmark it and watch it later on. And like you said, Erika, like we're making this into like a series, you know, and then it's going to be like a playlist on YouTube. So you can come back and check out all the really important stuff that I think a lot of us wish that we could be better at and think about and try and get down to do, but we don't give ourselves the time to actually educate ourselves about stuff. So like for me, just having this hour out of the day has been like, it's like 8 minutes past the cutoff date, but I'm really in like cutoff time. Sorry, I'm still really enjoying myself. So yeah, it's really important, I think, to take the time out to learn about yourself and understand what's going on up there. And honestly, like Louisa, Kamala, Katie, I appreciate you coming on. Like Wakelet appreciates you coming on. The whole education community appreciates you coming on today and speaking. It requires a level of confidence that I know at your age I could never ever do, like maturity, technical stuff as well. Like you guys like jumped on and we're just on it. And then the stuff that you've shared with people as well, it's been phenomenal, and I know that there's probably a lot more that you'd love to share. So we're going to try as hard as we can to give you guys that opportunity again, for sure.
I also want to tell people too, if you follow me on Twitter or even on Instagram, I post a lot about updates and things. So it's Green Screen Gal and then Green Screen Gal 44 on Instagram. I would appreciate that because I meet so many great people that way. So if you're on there, find us.
Yeah, definitely follow Erika on Twitter. She's like one of my favorite people to follow. Always like
my heart is full of this.
I'm not joking. Honestly, I'm not joking. whenever I'm sharing it again there. Like whenever I see your tweets, I'm always like super happy because I've got this anchor in my head that whenever you pop up, I remind myself to be mindful and I remind myself to relax. Yeah, that's what you represent. So it's a big task.
I need to represent that for myself, but yeah, I see Dr. Blaze and I'm like, oh, okay. You know?
Yeah, it's like a trigger for me. It's a trigger for me to be a bit more mindful.
Girls, I hope you feel triggered too. These girls, Louisa especially has been through a lot. We lost she lost the girls actually all lost a classmate this year.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
He's in the video that you guys will see. I don't know if we can close with the video, but and then we also lost our superintendent, Kara Murtag, at 44 years of age. So we've all been grieving, and Louisa lost her father. So she said I could share that. So but she says mindfulness has really helped her. So please start a practice and a gratitude journal. Watch the magic happen in your life. Please start.
Yeah. Well, I'm so sorry for all of your losses, especially you, Louisa. I think that's why we have these conversations, so that we can be equipped with the ways to handle things like grief and the ways to handle things that might not necessarily go right in our life. These things that are really unexpected and just kind of hit you. I think that this is like the same way that you would train up to be an athlete to do something. I think you have to train your emotions as well. You have to have that emotional training, so that when things like that do happen, you can deal with them in a really like healthy way. So I appreciate you so much for sharing that. I think that everybody does, and hopefully this will be the start of like a really cool movement that empowers you guys to be more active in the community and have your voices heard, because I think it's really important. I'm kind of bored of teachers as well, if I'm honest with you. I think it's kind of it's fun to speak with some students. So don't tell anybody that. I'm joking. It's a joke. It's a joke.
No, but I'd rather hear from the kids too. Honestly, I mean, I had to remind myself to keep my mouth shut today, so I hope I did okay.
But honestly,
don't worry, we'll have you back on because you know, I feel bad, but she's an amazing human. That's for sure.
Yeah, thank you all so much for this.
Yeah.
Just know that, like I said before, you will be getting certificates of attendance. This will be available on YouTube shortly afterwards. We really appreciate you joining us today. We know that we've gone over time a little bit, but we hope that you've had as good a time as I think that we have had talking about this stuff. And yeah, this should just be the beginning of the journey. The learning continues. As I always say, start small and have fun with it. So whether it's just doing one yoga stretch a day, it will eventually become something bigger. Once again, Erika, Louisa, Camilla, Casey, thank you all so much.
Thank you. Taking us out.
Sorry, Camilla, say that again.
For having us.
You're absolutely welcome. It's our pleasure, honestly. We're gonna close out, I think, and we'll leave the chat open for just a few moments. That if anyone's missed any links or anything, just scroll up. Please share your experience with us on Twitter, just at us at Wakelet and at Green Screen Gal. And yeah, this is PD month as well. So we've got so much PD happening this month.
Okay.
So just stay tuned on what we're doing on Twitter. We've got some really awesome things planned. And then the next community webinar that we have coming up in the last Thursday of this month is with the E-Twins. That's going to be really cool. They're going to be talking to us about what they've learned during lockdown. So it's going to be an awesome webinar. But yeah, I think that closes out. I'll mute everybody's mics and screens, so don't worry too much about that. And you guys can just, like, once that's done, you can just click off and leave. The webinar's going to close, and I'll leave the webinar open for a few more moments just so that everybody can check the links above and that type of thing. But from me, and I guess from everybody else as well, thank you all so much for joining. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you.
Namaste, everybody. Thank you.
Bye.